Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. On today's video, we're going to be smoking up some beef ribs, but I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Stay tuned. You can see, look at this bark. It's crazy. Oh man, this is perfect. It helps to start with a nice sharp knife, okay? Oh my goodness. Look at that. All right, so let's get started on these ribs. Now these are two really good looking racks. These are beef plate short ribs. I've smoked these before. Now I wanted to show you guys that I paid $21.34 for this rack here, and I believe, yeah, $18.75. The weight of them, this one is 4.27, this one is almost 5 pounds at 4.86 pounds. Now these are choice ribs here, nothing wrong with choice. In fact, I like to use choice sometimes a little bit more than I do prime because you get really good marbling. So I am using my Dell Strong knife. This is my boning knife. 6-inch boning knife, and it is extremely sharp. I'm going to leave a link in the description box if you want to get yourself one of these. I often get asked, you know, where do I get my knives from? But I'm going to leave a link in the description box. You can get yourself a nice discount. Look at how sharp this is. Look at that, just run it across. It's ridiculous sharp. All right, so I'm going to take these out of the package. All right, so I've got the ribs out of the package. Now it's time to remove a lot of this fat, if not all of it, okay? I'm going to show you how I trim this fat here. I'm a firm believer that when you're smoking ribs, you want a little bit of fat on the top, but this, again, this is a lot of fat, and a lot of this will not break down, so I like to take some of that off, especially the silver skin that is right under this fat. So just a real simple trim. Again, it helps if you have a sharp knife, go right under that silver skin with your knife, just like this, okay? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut across towards the outside of the ribs, and I'm going to use this as a handle, if you will, this little flap right here, just to cut across. You can kind of feel that knife gliding on top of the meat. So you're removing the silver skin and the fat with one swoop. It's real easy, again, once you have a nice sharp knife, like this Dell Strong knife right here. So look at that, okay? So you get really little meat that comes off of the rib. That's what I like. Take some of this off here. As I mentioned in the introduction, I am going to be doing something different on this cook. And that one thing is I am not going to be wrapping these ribs. I would normally wrap with butcher paper or with foil, depending on how fast you want your ribs done. But on this cook, I am not going to be wrapping these ribs whatsoever. I want a good smoky flavor off of these ribs. And the other thing that I'm going to do different is, you guys know how I feel about barbecue sauce. I'm not a really big fan. I mean, I have to be in a really good mood for it. So I'm going to apply a light coating of barbecue sauce on one of these racks. Once they're about done, once I'm about 15 minutes from being done, I'm going to take and apply a light coating of my favorite barbecue sauce. Okay, so just a little bit more fat here. Now a little bit of fat is okay. I just don't want an excessive amount on it. And I am wearing a cut glove. You should never cut towards your hand, but I am wearing a glove to help protect my hand, just in case I cut myself, or I run the knife towards my hand, I should say. There we go. So that is what I'm shooting for right here. Now you also have a membrane on the back, and you know what, I found that leaving it on helps keep the ribs together. They're not going to fall apart on you. Now the meat might still slide off of the bone, but it's going to hold them together so you can slice them. So I've got my ribs trimmed up, and this is how I like them right here. Just a little bit of fat on the top of them. Again, not an excessive amount. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this one up, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, so I've got my ribs trimmed up. Now I am going to add a light coating of olive oil to both racks. This is going to help get that seasoning to stick to them. I like using olive oil on my beef ribs, and mustard as a binder, like on my briskets and stuff, and ribs too. So grab the sides. We're also going to apply a little bit of rub on the back of them, even though we're not going to be eating this membrane, seasoning is good. Get your edges, get the sides. All right, just like that. Now I'm gonna be using 3 seasonings on these ribs, and I absolutely love this combination of seasonings, and I highly recommend that you guys give it a shot. The first 2 are gonna be base layers, okay? First one is my garlic jalapeno seasonal from Victory Lane Barbecue. Again, this is probably gonna make me cough because it's a really fine powder. So if I pause the camera, it's because I'm coughing away from the food, obviously. We'll see what happens. My daughter's already covering her face because it'll get both of us. Next rub is my SPG. This is just salt, pepper, garlic, and paprika. Just a light coating. And my last rub is this R Butts R Smokin Ozark Heat. This stuff is fantastic, okay? Full of flavor. So again, just add a good coating of this over the top. These are gonna be fantastic. I absolutely love this rub combination. All right, these are ready. I'm gonna go ahead and season these up. We'll see you outside at my Yoder YS640 pellet smoker. Stay tuned. All right, so we're outside at my Yoder YS640 pellet smoker, and I am using a mix of cherry and hickory pellets today. So these ribs are gonna go on the top rack. Now I do have one rack that's a little bit bigger than the other, and that one is gonna go up against the wall on the right side, just like this. Okay, that is my hotter zone on my smoker. This other rack is gonna go right here, just stagger them a little bit. And look at that rub, how it melted into those ribs. I gotta tell you, this rub combination, that Victory Lane Garlic Jalapeno, and SPG, and that Ozark Heat are deadly. Now, I let my smoker come up to 350 degrees. I just turned it down to 275, and the reason I do that is because when I open the lid, naturally I'm gonna release a lot of heat, okay? And that's gonna help cool my smoker down and get it to that 275 range. So these are gonna smoke for about 3 hours without me spritzing, touching, or even opening the lid. So we'll see you guys back in 3 hours. Stay tuned. All right, so it's been 3 hours since we put our ribs on. And again, I haven't even opened the lid. Let's take a look at how we're doing. Oh yeah, looking good. That bark is set. I am gonna be spritzing with apple cider vinegar and water, mixed to 50-50, just a little bit. Now from this point on, I will be spritzing about every hour. So remember that smoke is attracted to a wet surface. So I'm gonna be spritzing every hour. It's gonna give me a nice smoke ring, give me a nice smoky flavor as well. So again, 3 hours into the cook, again, spritzing every hour. We'll be back in about 3 hours. We'll check on the color and also get an internal temperature and see how we're doing at that point. So getting some really nice pullback from the bones. These are gonna be good. Stay tuned. All right, so we are at 6 hours into the cook, and I have been spritzing every hour. Again, just to keep that surface nice and moist and to add a little bit more smoke flavor. And look at this. They have pulled back. These are right in the middle. These are skating towards the middle. So let me get an internal temperature here. Ooh, that is tender. Really tender. So I'm at 193 at the thickest part on that one. Super tender here, 199, 200 degrees on this one on the left. Now I want these really nice and tender. So, man, these are like butter. 195. All right, so I'm gonna give these probably another 15 minutes just to get them a little bit more tender. Let me go ahead and spritz. Now 5 hours into the cook, I did move the ribs. So this was the meteor rack. I pulled it back and allowing the smaller rack to get some of that heat as well. So another 15 minutes and I think we'll be ready. All right, we'll see you guys inside. Stay tuned. All right, so I almost forgot that I said I was gonna put some barbecue sauce on one of these racks. So it's been about 15 minutes. So we're at 6 hours and 15 minutes. And I am using one of my favorite barbecue sauces. This is from Our House Barbecue. This is their original rum barbecue sauce. And this stuff is fantastic. So just warmed up some of the sauce, just a little bit in the pan. And warming up your barbecue sauce does thin it out. So that's what I want. So just gonna brush it on there. And I'm gonna leave it in the smoker for probably 5 minutes just to let that sauce tack up a little bit. Just like that. All right, so I got that rack nice and sauced up. Let me get an internal temperature here. Man, these are probing, really tender. All right, so 205. Those suckers are ready. And 202 on this one. All right, so I'm gonna let them both sit in here for another 5 minutes, and I'm gonna pull them off at the same time. We'll see you guys inside. Stay tuned. All right, so the ribs are ready, and they have been resting for about 30 minutes. And again, the total cook time was 6 hours and 20 minutes. Hard to believe. I really thought that they were gonna take a little bit longer than that, but I'm okay with 6 hours and 20 minutes. And again, 30 minutes of rest time, okay? So first, so I don't get any barbecue sauce on these good looking ribs right here, I'm gonna slice these up first and see how we did. Man, look at this. That bark is fantastic, all right? So one quick tip, so ribs, beef ribs, when you cook them, the bones get a little bit twisted. Just get a long knife like this one right here. I'm using my Del Strong knife, and put it right in between the bones here and in the back. That way you don't run into the bone. So let's see how we did here. Let's check that smoke ring. Oh yes, these are gonna be good. Slice the other one up here. Oh man, look at that. These bad boys are gonna be good. All right, let me move these aside and grab our sauced ribs. That rib is wanting to come off of that bone. So, and I gotta tell you, these look really good too. It's been a long time since I've had a barbecue sauced rib, okay? So, see how we did here. And try to stay right in between the bones there. Oh man, these are really tender too. Oh yes, look at that sauce. It's all glazed up, tacky. All right, I'm gonna slice this other one up and we'll come back and give these a try. Stay tuned. All right, I can't wait to try these ribs and see how we did. First, I'm gonna try the one with no sauce. Again, these were no wrap ribs, 6 hours and 20 minutes. Man, I don't wanna eat them, they're so beautiful, but somebody's gotta do it, right? Here we go. That was really good. Look at how tender, so full of flavor. I gotta tell you, those 3 rubs are the perfect match, okay? So now I'm gonna try the one with sauce and see how we did. This is one of the ends right here. These are really big ribs, so there we go. Mmm. Mmm. You know, the ones with sauce are really, really tasty, but I still am a firm believer that barbecue doesn't need sauce. Now, I just applied a light coating on it, and it's not bad. In fact, it's really tasty. It happens to be obviously my favorite barbecue sauce from Our House Barbecue, but this right here is where it's at. Good smoky flavor. You know, you guys have got to try this. No wrap, straight smoke, 6 hours and 20 minutes. All right, I'm gonna leave links in the description box on where you can get one of these cutting boards and even the knives that I used, the spray that I used in my video, pretty much everything that I used in my video. Check that out. Also on the rubs, where you can get those rubs, get yourself a discount on the Victory Lane Garlic Jalapeno Seasonal and all of the other rubs as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Till next time, Joe Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. See ya.